BLOCKTV, it's time now for Chain Breakers. A payment service provider, Bitpay, is working to expand its reach across the crypto payment space. After a stellar 2019 in which the payment processor facilitated $1 billion worth of cryptocurrency transactions, in just the last few weeks, Bitpay has integrated gift card purchasing abilities for app users in the UK and went on to add a multitude of new cryptocurrencies to their payments network. And I'm joined now by Sean Rowland, Bitpay Director of Product. Sean, thanks so much for being with us.
Asher, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, so Sean, kick us off. Let's just deal with this latest big news that you guys have, your 2019 report coming out stating that you guys managed to transact a whopping $1 billion worth of transactions in 2019. Pretty stellar stuff. Can you break that down a little bit for us, some of the key trends and what came out of the year that was?
Sure, it was a great 2019, following on a great 2018. You hear a lot in the space around trading volumes and different use cases for cryptocurrency, but we're seeing great trends emerge specifically in payments, all the way from consumers who want to purchase Amazon gift cards directly with Bitcoin, from businesses that want to transact cross-border with using stable coins as their unit of account. So you're really starting to see a wide use case for cryptocurrencies and blockchain payments across a wide variety of use cases. So that's really what drove it for us in 2019.
Mm-hmm. And that number, 1 billion, obviously has a great ring to it, seems very significant. But in terms of sort of, an overall market saturation and development, are we really seeing trends pushing forward that suggest that number is going to grow considerably, not just for Bitpay, but generally across the whole crypto space?
I mean, to be frank, I think that number is minuscule, especially for what it's going to be. And like you said, not alone for Bitpay, but for all blockchain payments and cryptocurrency payments. Like I mentioned, with cross-border and B2B payments, those are some huge pain points that blockchain payments specifically is a great use case for. And as these international corporations and small businesses and medium-sized businesses start understanding the savings and the speed and the efficiency that they can have around using blockchain payments, I think it's only a drop in the bucket right now. And that's not even considering consumer payments, remittances, sending money home, and then using that money directly to spend in your native country. So billion's a great number, has a great ring to it, but it is just the very, very beginning.
And a drop in the bucket, as you say, but hopefully one that can swell to a storm. But as well, not just looking at the year that was, let's look at 2020 already. Now, already this year, you've recently announced the addition of XRP to your platform, meaning you guys now support 7 digital assets. Now, firstly, just to start off, what was the main reason that you earmarked XRP as such an important currency for you guys to add?
Number one reason, top reason, our customers requested it. That's kind of how I drive and the team drives product decisions here, is really listening and having empathy with what our business customers, what our consumer customers are all asking for. And XRP, top 4 cryptocurrency. They have a very strong, very robust community behind XRP. And we heard our users and our business customers specifically loud and clear. That, like you said, we have Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, a number of different stable coins, but XRP was the next one on the list, and we were happy to incorporate that also.
So then, Sean, let me flip this around, though. I mean, given XRP, it is the number 3 crypto out there. It has an avid fan base, and many argue, particularly those big fans of XRP, a multitude of use cases. Why did it take so long to include XRP into the Bitpay system?
Well, look, honestly, we could support every cryptocurrency that exists, thousands and thousands of them. But if you don't have robust, concrete, good tools for your merchants for businesses to accept payments, it's all pointless, to be honest. So what we've really focused on is how do we provide value? How do we be best in class in the payment tools that our customers like AT&T and American Cancer Society, what do they expect? What are they used to when credit card accepting checks for payments? And we want to make sure that cryptocurrency payments are just as easy to use on the back end and on the front end for our businesses. So that's really where we had a lot of focus in the past. And now we feel we're in a really good place regarding those tools. And so now it's really ready to to amp up in terms of what cryptocurrencies are we going to add and some other fun stuff that we have coming in 2020.
Right, and your CEO, Stephen Pear, recently alluded to some of that, suggesting that you guys will be releasing more coins available on BitPay in the future, as well as potentially support for the Lightning Network. Any news or follow-up you can give us in regards to those developments?
Well, look, man, there's wild things happening in terms of different coins and different tokens launching. If you want to look at Facebook's Libra project, you hear central banks talking about central bank digital currencies. Every fiat currency being issued on the blockchain. We're looking at top 15, top 20 cryptocurrency in terms of market cap. Where's all the value lie in the current tokens and coins that are out there? And then also what coins and tokens are made for payments. Not every coin, not every token is specifically made for payments. There's other use cases, and that's great. But the ones we're really interested in is network effect, user base, community, value that's stored on the chain, and then how relevant it is and how tailor-made it is for payments. So there's a lot of different decisions that go into making which ones we support, but we're definitely looking closer. And on Lightning, that's something where 2020 we're gonna really keep an eye on and look at also. It's still pretty young, it's pretty new. The volume off chain on the Lightning Network, of course, isn't close to the on-chain value. But when we saw what happened in 2017 with congestion of the chain, and we understand the value of off-chain payments and off-chain channels, and Lightning could be the answer for that. So it's something we're going to be keeping our close eye on, especially this year.
Certainly one to watch out for. But let's just wrap some of the announcements you guys have already made this year. So you just recently announced a partnership with Simplex, which is going to enable purchasing of cryptos directly on the BitPay app. What's the significance of this step, and do you see this being a bit of a game changer for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for all our product releases, but this one specifically too. It really enables the BitPay app specifically, and that's our non-custodial app that we offer outside of our merchant services. But it really makes it a one-stop shop for our global user base. We're not in the US and the EU. We have South African, South American, Australian, customers all around the world. And not all of them have access to top-of-the-line exchanges like Coinbase or Gemini and things like that. And we want to make sure that when our users are in the BitPay app experience, they can shop from there. They can buy gift cards. And if maybe they don't have cryptocurrency, they can go out and buy that using credit and debit cards using Simplex. And the other thing that I really like about Simplex, besides the fact that they have a global coverage, their fraud detection system is top of the line. With legacy payment systems like credit cards and debit cards, fraud is rampant. You don't have that in cryptocurrency. And so transitioning users from that fraud-based system into one that's not is something I think Simplex does a great job in. And we're really excited to offer our users around the world the ability to natively still live in the BitPay ecosystem and honestly live their life on crypto, use it as their unit of account. So Simplex is a really big step forward for us in that.
All right, and talking about those developments for the industry, it's a nice segue to move this conversation from your suite of many products coming out in the year ahead and those that have just emerged to talking about the industry as a whole. Now as we sort of wrap 2019, here at BLOCKTV, we did a number of stories covering how the year was and how it was perceived. Many say 2019 was a bit of a lost year for crypto. Now, that's up for debate whether it was or wasn't, but many point out 2020 as a real, game-changing year, or a real, at least, year of great significance, a year in which things are going to really start to change and happen. Sean, what's your take on this, and what do you see as sort of the big things that you guys are looking out for as 2020 is, rolling on?
Well, first, 2019 is the lost year. I don't fully agree with that. The amount of building that happened, and that's referenced in a lot in terms of, when maybe the market's on a downswing, but there are hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there and so many quality companies who are building, these platforms and the infrastructure and the protocols for what 2020 and the rest of this decade is going to live on. So 2019, not necessarily a lost year, but 2020 is what really is also interesting, considering all the big players that are specifically talking and looking at this space. I mentioned earlier Facebook. I mentioned central banks looking at digital currencies. China has talked extensively and is, I think, coming close to launching their own digital currency on a blockchain. So I think that 2020 is going to bring a lot of more user base to the ecosystem. Right now, a lot of the attention goes on trading and what the price is. I look at 2020, 2021, the next couple of years is really, hey, why should I use cryptocurrency instead of my debit card? Why should I use it instead of my other digital payment systems? And getting that exposure when really large players are getting into it is something that I think it really changes the game. The technology is there, but this is something cryptocurrency and usage really combines well with network effects, and that's what gets me really excited, along with regulation. Governments are taking a very close look at this. How do we limit money laundering while also allow people the freedom to transact, without censorship or with, depending on what the use case is. So I think the more attention comes on it from bigger players, that's where 2020 is really going to have some awesome value behind it.
Certainly, it's a quality chance to sort of look in at the industry, as you said, maybe 2019, a year that maybe wasn't lost, but a chance for reflection to build into the 2020s and the decade that will come. Sean Rowland, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today, help break down some of your latest product developments and thoughts on the industry ahead. Thanks so much for being with us. And for those at home, keep watching at blocktv.com for all the latest in news and information. I'm westropp-evans. Thanks for watching.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.